Yeah, so my latest leadership book, Welcome to Leadership, was inspired by the work of Lincoln C. Andrews. He was a brigadier general, and in the 1920s he wrote a book, in 1920, he wrote a book called Manpower. And so last year, in 2020, I had some free time in the beginning of the pandemic, and I read that book for the first time, and I was struck by a few things. Now, he wrote it, it was just after World War One. It was after the Spanish flu, and there were some uprisings and so on and so forth. If you check your history, so some threats to democracy. So history kind of repeats itself a little bit. Long drawn-out war, pandemic, assaults to democracy. So the premise sounded kind of familiar, but the whole idea behind it was to get people after World War One ready for some leadership roles. So it was pretty much geared to young men. And as I was reading through it, I was struck by a few things. One, how really fairly contemporary it was in terms of its ideas and thoughts and how we should be approaching industry, as it were. And although the language was, very kind of gendered toward men, and remember, women just got the right to vote. It was a different world 100 years ago, but it also struck me that how very, very similar it was to what we were experiencing now. But I wanted to adapt that work for new leaders today. And so I was challenged a little bit because the writing was very much like an old movie, and it reminded me of my grandfather in the way that he spoke. And so there was just the language and the tone of it all was very interesting, but it also was a little concerned it wouldn't translate to modern audiences that well. So I spent a lot of time updating this so that it would apply to everyone regardless of gender, because I think, women can lead too, a little bit better, usually. And so I wanted this book to be accessible. So it's called Welcome to Leadership. It's practical elements and requirements for leadership. And I hope you get a chance to check it out, because it's basically 100 years in the making, but it's contemporized to help new leaders in the 21st century.